You've flown the missions, you've mined the rings, you've hauled cargo 1,000 light years. But Elite Dangerous hides more than just grind. Hidden ruins, alien secrets, space politics, and even heists. Here are 10 Elite Dangerous activities you probably missed until now. So before I tell you about these 10 activities, I would like to ask you for something very quick, I promise. If you're not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe using the, subscribe button down below. You can enable notifications as well if you would like to be notified about my future uploads, and if you like my Elite Dangerous content. It would help me and the channel out a ton because we're trying to reach 500 subscribers by the end of summer, so if we could do that, that would be fantastic. So yeah, that's all I wanted to ask. Let's continue with the video. Let's begin with the first item on our list, community goals. Now before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's get into how you can find the current ongoing community goals. You're gonna want to go to the official Elite Dangerous community goals page that you can see right now. This will outline which system the community goal currently is in and what your rewards will be and what exactly you will have to do. Now currently there are 9 types of these community goals: trading, rares trading, salvage, smuggling, exploration, data materials, bounty hunting, conflict, and anti-Xeno. Now most of these are very self-explanatory. However, conflict is kind of a broad term. That usually means that you have to redeem combat bonds at the specified station. So that's going to involve a little bit of fighting, but it's alright. I believe in you, you can do it. Another thing to note is that with exploration, you usually have to scan a specific thing or a specific section of things. Now the rewards usually vary, but this can be credits, discounts, unique decals, unique paint jobs, system permits, technology broker unlocks, or pre-engineered modules. So all in all, pretty sweet deal. Getting started and doing these community goals are pretty simple. You only have to dock at the community goals station, access the mission board, select the community goals tab, and then choose to participate in the community goal. And then you just have to complete the required tasks. That's it. The second thing on our agenda is power play. Now power play is basically just space politics. Now basically what you do is you pledge yourself to a main power. Pledging yourself will give you certain rewards after you do some things for them. Basically just a whole pyramid scheme, but I'm not gonna get into it that much. Basically you pledge yourself to a power that aligns with what you do in the game and what you like doing in the game mostly, be that combat, trading, or even exobiology, and you choose that power and you pledge yourself to it. Now there's a whole background simulation with this, a whole territory system. You can get into that more if you want to, but I'm just raising awareness that this is there, and this is actually a pretty big part of the game right now. Now to actually get started with power play, you have to go to your right panel and you have to navigate to the power play tab. You review all of the powers and their benefits and you choose one that you like the most. You have to participate in activities such as delivering materials, undermining enemy factions, or even fortifying systems to earn merits. And these merits will translate to your power rank. And as your rank with the power grows, so do the amount of things that you will get as a reward. Now moving on to number 3, we have the very interesting Guardian technology. And this technology comes from the Guardians, who were an alien humanoid species who developed a highly advanced civilization that spanned the galaxy. They were driven to extinction around 1 or 2 million years ago by the Constructs, who are a sentient robotic species that were created by the Guardians. So they were basically their own downfall. The Guardians created several intelligent machines that still are active to this day. And some of these machines, such as the pylons you see I'm shooting at in the video, or the sentinels that will come to attack you when you actually do this, you can still find today and you will find on your journey. How do you actually get started with the Guardian technology and all of its usefulness? You have to visit known Guardian sites, such as those in the Sinuefa region. You can see the spelling on your screen right now. You gotta deploy your SRV, which you hopefully have, and you gotta bring an SRV for this, otherwise it won't really work. And you have to activate the site's pylons to access the data core. You have to collect the required materials and data. Most of this is usually just shooting pylons, and you also have to get a Guardian relic, which you will have to drop in front of the data core in a little opening. You then have to visit a Guardian tech broker to unlock and purchase Guardian modules. Focus crystals, which you will need, are usually rewards from passenger transport missions, which we will actually get into later in the video. I'll say this now, and I will also say it at the end of the video, but if you guys would like to see a segment in more detail, feel free to to let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to make a more detailed guide about it, or maybe a more detailed lore video. So that's pretty much the gist of it. The reason this is very important is because it unlocks a plethora of technology for you to use, such as shield technology, ship technology, guardian power plants and distributors, and hull and shield tech. The fourth item on our list is actually the one that I was most nervous about: Thargoid Barnacle harvesting. Now you probably already know this, but Thargoids are an alien race that have a very big liking for human meat. Okay, not actually human meat, but they like killing us, because, you know, we're kind of enemies. So I was very scared that I would come across one like the one that you see in the video right now. Thankfully, this one was destroyed very quickly. Now, the main reason why someone would go and risk their lives just to harvest some barnacles is actually a very good one: money. You can get meta alloys from these Thargoid barnacles, especially spires, and these can be used to create corrosion-resistant cargo racks and meta alloy hull reinforcements in case you want to fight some Thargoids. Or they can be sold for a pretty penny. Now, to get started with harvesting some Thargoid barnacles, you have to go to an actively Thargoid-infested area, such as the Witchhead Nebula. As far as I know, the Pleiades Nebula also has some, as well as the California, but I know for a fact that the Witchhead Nebula has these barnacles. You then have to travel to the identified system and land near the barnacle site. You have to use an SRV. You then deploy your SRV to collect these meta alloys from the barnacles. You usually have to shoot some barnacles, but it should be fine. You just have to shoot them with your SRV and they will pop right off. You open your cargo scoop and you just pick them up. And as I stated before, these meta alloys are highly important. One, because of money, and two, because they're crucial for unlocking specific technologies and missions. And now, something for the folks who do not want to get into alien fighting, but would much rather stick with humans: megaship hacking and looting. Now, the megaships that I'm going to mention in this section are non-dockable. I'm not going to talk about generation ships just yet, but I will talk about the other types. So there are agricultural vessels, asteroid miners, bulk cargo ships, dredgers, prison ships, science vessels, survey vessels, tankers, and tourist ships. Getting to and accessing these megaships is actually pretty much a heist. You can either do this in mission form or you can do this free play by yourself. Now keep in mind that profitability is currently low and the risks are very high because there will be police force after you. So let's get into how you can actually get started with hacking and looting these megaships. If you want to go with the mission way, you have to go to a mission board and look for one of these three: data acquisition, install surveillance equipment, or retrieval from mission target. And these will often mention mission target megaship. Now you have to accept one and head to the listed system. You then have to approach the megaship in Super Cruise and drop in at the mission marker. You have to use your data link scanner to scan the target port, which will then give you the direction in which the ship is going, and this is usually the mission target. If you want to do this by yourself, you will have to go to the system's nav beacon first and scan it. You will then have to go to your left panel and find your desired megaship. It is recommended that your ship is equipped with recon limpet controllers, hatchbreaker limpet controllers, and also a collector limpet controller for the cargo that will fall out of this. And also, if you want to stay in silent running longer, you should get a heatsink launcher to get rid of high heat if you cannot exit silent running soon. Now, as I said, for the mission, you just have to interrogate the ship and where it's going. And if you want to do this in free play, you can do basically anything you want. You can hack the data transmitters, you can hack the cargo hatches, you can even break the cargo hatches and make sure that you get the precious loot that falls out of the megaship, and then sell it for good money. But as I said, this good money isn't necessarily the amount you would be getting if you would do, for example, exobiology or the Thargoid barnacle harvesting, actually, because profitability is currently low and, as I said, the risks are high. And what better way to continue this illegality than by talking about black market trading and piracy? Now, this activity will get you in trouble. You will not be able to just pay your fines. You will have to hand yourself in and go to prison. I mean, there is money in this, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna have to go to prison if you don't want that wanted status. This was probably the most fun I've had, just getting behind people and interdicting them and then basically just shooting them until cargo falls out. But yeah, I mean, it's an activity that I would recommend for you to try out at least once, even as a newbie, because it's fun. Like, it's fun. Sure, you will have to go to the Fortress of Solitude, which is actually the Pillar of Fortitude, and there are several detention centers that you can be sent to. But hey, after that, you at least tried it once. Now, to actually get into piracy, you will have to equip your ship with collector and hatchbreaker limpet controllers, FSD interdictors, and some cargo racks to actually store the cargo that you collect. You will then have to interdict ships in Super Cruise, and then you will have to disable the target ships to collect cargo. Keep in mind that you will have to remove their shields before you actually send a hatchbreaker limpet to them, but that shouldn't be a problem. You just have to get a lot of pulse lasers. After you've done this and you've collected some precious cargo, you have to locate stations with active black markets to sell your illicit goods. And these usually go for a much higher price than the galactic average. The only thing that you have to be cautious about is the security forces and potential bounties on your head. As I said before, you can hand yourself in and you can go to the Fortress of Solitude, and usually 0 credits is all you need to spend on your ship's rebuy. Or it's not even a rebuy, it was just confiscation. You just have to pay your bounties and your fees, I guess, and then you're just fine. And now the most laid back thing you can do, other than exobiology and still make good money, passenger tourism missions. Now these tourist missions are really quite simple. You get hired by either a high-ranking official or a high-ranking person like a celebrity, or a group of other people who are in economy, for example, and you take them on a tourism mission pretty much around the galaxy. Most of the time, actually almost all of the time, it's inside of the bubble, so you don't have to worry about that, but it's still pretty nice, and you also get to see some pretty nice views. Now getting started is probably the easiest thing you can do. You get an Orca or any of the main passenger transport ships, and you equip your ship with passenger cabins. You then access the passenger lounge at stations to find available missions. You then accept sightseeing or transport missions based on your ship's capacity and range. Also, don't forget to equip a fuel scoop. It will come in handy for long range. Also, you have to ensure passenger satisfaction by avoiding delays and hostile encounters. Sometimes these are unavoidable, and if you don't have a fuel scoop, like me for example, I missed that completely. I had to stop and refuel at stations. But it's fine, you just go ahead and continue your journey afterward. And then after you're done, you usually have to go back to the system you started from, so it's usually a round trip. Also keep in mind that certain missions may have specific requirements or restrictions, so choose accordingly. You will see them grayed out, so if you want to grind some more with the current station's power or main party, you can do that and unlock these missions. Now the question you might be asking yourself is this monotone and how much money you can make from it? The first answer is yes, it's kind of monotone, and the second is you can make quite a bit actually. I made like 8 million from one run, so it is definitely profitable. And while we're on the topic of space tourism, let's get to photography and cinematics. Now this may seem like a really basic thing to do, and it is. However, you get a chance to be featured on the actual the official Elite Dangerous community pages. So that's in and of itself pretty cool. Now the best way to go about this is to post your image on X and leave the hashtag stellar screenshots for a chance to be featured on the official X page. It's a way for the community and the developers to be in communication with each other, and it's I don't know, it's just a cool aspect of the game, I suppose, and an aspect of the entire community. Now the way to get started is really quite simple. You have to utilize your camera suite to access various camera angles and settings, and you have to press F10, I believe, for standard screenshots, or Alt F10 for high resolution, or you can also press Windows Shift S, I believe is the command for the screenshot, and you can select the exact size. You then experiment with lighting, composition, location, stuff like that. You can check out how different areas of the planet or entity you're trying to photograph looks like, and then you take the photo. And then you share your images on social media platforms with appropriate hashtags, as I said before. So the best way to do this is most likely on X with the hashtag stellar screenshots. And this is basically it. No profitability, no nothing. It's just a way for the community to interact with each other. Speaking of community, let's take a look at an earlier community of sorts that existed in the game's history. Let's look at abandoned ships and lore logs. Creepy, huh? So yeah, this was actually the Lazarus expedition that me and my friend Messiah Nippon found, and this was just one of the many creepy log files this generation ship had that was to be discovered. But yeah, I mean, the entire generation ship idea is absolutely fascinating, and just the look of this ship is something to behold. Like, if you are going to do this once, make sure that this is the Lazarus expedition, or actually any other generation ship, it doesn't really matter, but make sure you do this trip at least once. trust me, it is worth every single second you will spend on it. The best way to get started is either using the codex or searching on Reddit or any other form of information where you can find these lost generation ships. In the codex, I think it's under lore or points of interest. I'm not entirely sure, but it should be there. And you just select one and go to it pretty much. You travel to the specified coordinates and scan the area for signals. You might have to do a little bit of searching. Some aren't like on exact coordinates. Some are like in a place, but toward another place. So it's kind of difficult to find them, but it's worth it in the end because you get a whole experience out of it. You then scan these data ports or these, I'm not entirely sure what they're called actually, but you scan them with your data link scanner and they give you some information, some lore about what actually went down with the ship. And this is pretty much what you do with it. There is not much you can do. There's not much to interrogate. There is not much to loot. This is all for lore, pretty much. If you want to know more about the lore of the game, then this is the best thing to do, or one of the best things to do. And last but not least, also kind of in the way of lore and signal hunting, is actually signal hunting and mysterious encounters. Now, signal hunting really just refers to finding out what unidentified signal sources are and what exactly non-human signal sources have in store for you if you're brave enough to check them out. Basically, unidentified signal sources can be anything from degraded emissions to weapons fire and basically anything. It can also be power play focused, but you have to go and select it, scan it, and then find out. If you want to, if it's threat 0, you can go there safely. If it's threat 1 or above, it might pose some difficulty, but hey, you're brave enough, you can figure it out. If it's non-human signal source, it will be a Thargoid encounter. It can either be a Thargoid probe or an actual Thargoid. So that's entirely up to you if you want to mess around and find out. The way to get started is really quite simple. You are in Super Cruise, that's the prerequisite. You monitor your ship's scanner, so on the left, for unidentified signal sources or non-human signal sources. You can also scan some encoded beacons, and they will also give you some information. Now, in some unidentified signal sources, you can get some materials that are actually pretty nice, and they come in handy. Just in case you want to get some engineering materials, this is the perfect way to do it. Now, as for the Thargoid encounters, you can get some pretty bounties. So if you're up for the challenge and you don't mind getting your ship blown up sometimes, that's something that you can do as well. So let's summarize these 10 things because this was a long video. So first up was community goals. They are events that you can get some things from. These things may include ship parts or credits, or maybe both. Next up, we had power play, basically space politics. After that, we had Guardian technology unlocks, which is basically just making your ship better. After that, we had Thargoid Barnacle harvesting, which lets you get meta alloys that you can sell or make some components or ship modules out of. Next up, we had megaship hacking and looting, which is piracy pretty much, and you can get some money from it, though not much. After that, we had black market trading and piracy, which is more profitable. In the 7th place, we had passenger tourism missions, which can give you a pretty penny, but they do take a long time. After that, we had photography and cinematics, which is really easily explained by taking photos and videos and hoping that the elite devs will notice you. 9th, we had abandoned ships and lore logs, and I basically talked about generation ships and how you should go and visit one. And then last but not least, we had signal hunting and mysterious encounters, which is either a harmless signal source or a human v human signal source or a Thargoid encounter. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. The video has been so long to make that the sun's going down, but it was worth it. I hope you guys learned something new. This was mainly meant for new players, but if you're a veteran or if you're an intermediate player, I hope I was able to tell you a thing or two or show you a thing or two. If I wasn't, then I hope you at least enjoyed the video. I still hope that I maybe taught you some new things or I showed you some new things. This video was a ton of fun to make. I have went to places that I've never been to before. I have done things that I've never done before or would have never thought of doing before, like the Thargoid Barnacle harvesting. I was scared to death from that, but it's all right. I had my friend Messiah Nippin help me out with that, so that was all fun and games. But yeah, with that, the video has come to an end. Please leave a like if you liked the video. Subscribe down below if you want to become a part of the channel today. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.